The twin Xylari sisters huddled together in the shadowed corner of Station Theta 9's lower market district, their crystalline skin reflecting the dim emergency lights that had been their only company for 7 standard days. Zira and Kessa, barely 9 cycles old by their species measure, clutched each other as another shift change thundered past them. Dozens of species, hundreds of beings, none of them stopping. None of them human. "He said he'd come back," Zira whispered, her voice creating soft harmonic echoes that only her sister could properly hear. "The human named Jack. He promised." Kessa's larger eyes, the only way to tell the twins apart, blinked slowly. Maybe he forgot. Maybe humans don't keep promises like Xylari do. "No." Zira's grip tightened. "He gave me his word. Humans—" Jennifer said humans die for their words. 7 days ago, everything had been different. The marketplace had been alive with color and commerce when their guardian, Uncle Vex, had collapsed. The neural plague had struck him mid-sentence, and suddenly 2 young Xylari children were alone on a station where their species was rare, their language largely unknown, and their crystalline biology made them targets for collectors and worse. Jack Chen had been unremarkable in that crowd, a human freight worker in a worn jumpsuit carrying supplies. But when Zira had accidentally knocked into him, fleeing from a Kravaxi merchant who'd tried to grab her, Jack had done something extraordinary. He'd stopped. "Whoa, hey, you okay?" His translator had rendered his words into something Zira could understand, but it was his tone that had struck her, genuine concern from a complete stranger. Within minutes, he'd assessed their situation. Uncle Vex was already gone, claimed by the plague's swift mercy. The station authorities were tied up with a cargo dispute. The Xylari embassy was 3 sectors away, and the twins had no credit chips, no identification that station systems would recognize. "I'm covering a double shift," Jack had explained, kneeling to their level. "But I promise I'll come back. You see that corner?" He'd pointed to where they now sat. "I want you to wait right there. Don't move, don't talk to anyone except station security, and I will be back, okay?" Zira had seen something in his eyes, those strange, singular-colored human eyes without the proper refractions, that made her believe him. "Okay," she'd whispered. Jack had given them his ration bars, showed them the emergency water dispenser, and even left his jacket, far too large but warm. 7 days, he'd said. "My shift rotation. 7 days and I'll have enough credits saved to get you to your embassy. I promise." That had been 168 standard hours ago. Now, as the station's artificial day cycle dimmed toward evening again, Kessa stirred. "Zira, we should go to the authorities." "Tell them, no." Zira's harmonics sharpened with determination. "We wait, humans keep their promises." "How do you know?" Zira pulled Jack's jacket tighter around them both. "Because Jennifer told me." Jennifer Martinez had been the second human they'd encountered on day 3. A medical officer doing rounds. She'd found them in their corner, checked them for injuries, and brought them nutritional supplements compatible with Xylari biology. "You're waiting for Jack Chen?" Jennifer had asked, reviewing something on her datapad. "The freight handler?" Zira had nodded, terrified this human would take them away before Jack could return. But Jennifer had smiled, that peculiar way humans rearrange their faces to show pleasure. "Jack's one of the good ones. If he promised he'd come back, he'll come back. Humans have this thing, we're stubborn about our word. Especially people like Jack." She'd paused. "He lost his own little sister years ago. Couldn't save her. I think he sees her in every kid who needs help now." Jennifer had left them extra supplies and a communicator. "If you need emergency help, press this. But if you're waiting for Jack, he'll be here." That had been 4 days ago. Station traffic ebbed and flowed. Zira watched the chronometer she'd learned to read, counting down the hours. Other beings had noticed them, some with curiosity, others with avarice. But Jack's corner was positioned near enough to security cameras that no one dared approach directly. On the 7th day, as the cycle ticked into its final hours, Kessa's hope was fading. "Zira, please." Maybe he couldn't come. Maybe something happened. Humans are fragile. Jennifer said so. Maybe he promised. Zira's voice carried that unique harmonic that Xylari used for absolute truth. And humans don't break promises. Not humans like Jack. The chronometer struck the 168-hour mark. Nothing. Kessa's crystalline shoulders slumped. Even Zira felt doubt creeping in, cold and terrible. Had she been wrong? Had she condemned them both to, Hey! Hey, Zira! Kessa! The voice cut through the marketplace din like a beacon. Both twins' heads snapped up, their crystalline structures resonating with sudden hope. Jack Chen was running, sprinting through the crowd, his datapad clutched in one hand, a bag in the other. He looked exhausted, his face covered in grime and sweat, his uniform torn at the shoulder. But he was smiling. He dropped to his knees in front of them, breathing hard. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I'm late. The freight hauler had a malfunction. We've been in dead space for 6 hours. I ran from the docking bay. I promised I'd be back in 7 days and He checked his chronometer and laughed with relief. Technically still made it, barely. Zira launched herself at him, Kessa right behind her. Their crystalline bodies might have been hard, but they were small, and Jack caught them both, his arms wrapping around them like they were precious cargo. You came back, Zira whispered. You came back. Of course I did. Jack's voice was rough with emotion. I promised, didn't I? He pulled back just enough to look at them both. I've got it all arranged. I cashed in favors, sold some stuff, picked up extra shifts. I've got enough credits for embassy transport, temporary guardianship documentation, and enough left over to make sure you're fed and comfortable until your people come for you. He showed them the datapad. And look, I contacted your homeworld. Your aunt is coming. She'll be here in 2 weeks, and until then, you're staying in proper quarters. No more corners. Kessa's harmonic voice carried a question that needed no translation. Why? Jack's expression softened. He looked between them, and Zira saw that same thing she'd recognized on day one. A deep, unyielding determination that went beyond logic or profit. Because I promised, he said simply. And because humans have this weird thing where we can't stand seeing kids suffer. We're not the strongest species or the smartest or the toughest, but we're really, really stubborn about protecting children. It's kind of our thing. He stood lifting his bag. Come on, let's get you somewhere warm. And on the way, I'll tell you about my sister. I think she would have liked you too. As they walked away from that corner, finally, after 7 days, Zira looked up at Jack, at this human who'd kept his word against all logic, who'd worked himself to exhaustion for 2 alien children he barely knew. Jennifer was right, she said softly. Humans do die for their words. Jack glanced down, surprised. Jennifer said that? She said humans keep promises. That it means something. Jack's smile was tired but genuine. Yeah, it does. Maybe that's why the galaxy needs humans. We're not here because we're the best at anything. We're here because when we say we'll do something, he looked at them both, his eyes holding that fierce protective light. We do it, no matter what. In the years that followed, long after Zira and Kessa had returned to their homeworld, they would tell this story. They would speak of the human who'd promised to return and did, of the species that valued words as binding contracts written in will and determination. And they would end every telling the same way. If a human gives you their word, you can build your future on it. Because humans don't break promises, not to those who need them most. That was humanity's gift to the galaxy, not their strength or their technology, but their stubborn, inexplicable, beautiful refusal to abandon those they'd sworn to protect. That was why the galaxy needed humans.